have Professor Rahul with us. And so this session, the idea of this session is to clear all your doubts before you go for the final exam. And before getting into the technical discussion, I just want to make a point here. I saw 2 to 3 people having little problems with the assignment 3 scoring. So this involves some manual intervention. So I was waiting for people to post their concerns, especially with regard to assignment 3. So I'll take all those issues, I'll look into all those issues over the weekend and then get the issues resolved, right? So today's session is to have a technical discussion and clear all your doubts before you go on to the final exam. So now you can start asking your questions one by one. So we have Srivatsa, we have Jaimini, and myself, Swami.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could we go through the mock test once?
That will be difficult because we have a lot of questions on the mock test.
I think it is better to answer specific doubts rather than going through the entire test.
Yeah.
Okay. And would we get the solution of the mock test? Because honestly speaking, sometimes few questions are pretty hard to understand. I mean, the concept
are already available, I guess.
Is it? Because I wasn't able to find it. I'll just check.
No. The answers are available. The steps would not be available. The questions are very similar to what you looked at in quizzes and the practice assignment.
Yes, sir.
So you can go back to that practice assignment or that lecture and see where you need to proceed with respect to the question.
Okay. Answer just one more small clarification that in the end semester, there is no minimum passing marks required in the NSEM, right?
I'm not very sure about that. That should be available in the course outline, right?
Okay.
Does anybody else have any question with respect to the content?
So again, if you have any questions, especially in the mock test, what you can do is you can post your solution on the discourse forum. So some of your peers might also be able to answer the question. If not, we TAs, so we co-instructors are always there and we can also help you out. So if needed, you can also type your questions on the chat. Come on, friends. You asked for this live session. One final last.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I wanted to know about the paper pattern of the end-term exam. I have seen that mock exam, but then all the questions are like for 1 point and all. So I just wanted to know, because I read in the grading pattern that it will be for 110 marks.
Okay.
Right. And then it will be scaled down to 40. So, I mean, so I don't have an idea. I mean, how will be the questions? Like in the mock exam, I mean, in the quiz 1 and 2, we had like 50 marks paper, right?
Okay.
It had 1 hour. Okay. And now we are going to have 110 marks. So we will have only 1.5 hours. So how will the marking scheme will be there? I mean, will we have the same questions, like the question which was there in the quiz 1 for 5 marks? Will it be for 5 marks only in the end term, or it will be scaled up or something like that?
It will be very similar to the mock exam.
Okay, mock. Actually, my problem is, sir, I am not getting any idea about the number of questions and the marks allotted to the question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to repeat, but it is that's why mock is created. Expect the obviously more number of questions, little more the number than what we have in the mock, but the pattern will be similar, but
So
on
the
the same
same-
lines.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah. Okay. So we have like 22 questions there. So around 25 questions can be, I mean, around 25
I don't
to
know.
30 questions can be.
I can't exactly remember. I honestly don't remember the exact number of questions, but it's definitely more than what we have in the mock.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Don't hold me guilty saying that, well, mock 22 more number. I honestly don't know. It could be 23. It could be 30. I really don't know. It could be 33 also. I really don't
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So any doubts in the concepts like conjoint analysis, data envelopment analysis? Because you wanted this last live session. That is why we troubled Professor Rahul to join this live session. And we're not seeing any technical questions.
Sir, I had a very small doubt in that conjoint analysis.
Okay.
I could see that example of preferences, right?
Yes.
So I could see, like, if there are three things, let's say one is preferred over two, then two is preferred over three. But when it comes to 1 and 3, then we can see that 1 is preferred over 3.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, if let's say if a person is preferring, let's say 2 over 1, that means he's already rejecting 1. Okay, then out of 2 and 3, he's selecting 3. That means he's rejecting 2, right? So for that person, the 3 is superior, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to 1 and 3, how is he selecting 1?
That is the USP of conjoint analysis. Conjoint analysis allows for these inconsistencies. So notice the objective function of the object optimization problem in conjoint analysis. It is the minimization of badness of fit. Right.
So the example I'm giving, sorry to interrupt, the example I'm saying, it is the badness of fit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So it allows the consumer to be inconsistent and it reduces the badness of, minimizes the badness of. That's what these Z, I, J, K variables do.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Parbit has a question, but I'm not able to understand the acronyms. What do you mean by FNs and FPs?
Sir, it's false negatives and false positives.
Okay. So the answer is it should be explicitly stated.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Excuse me, sir.
Sure, sir.
So if you could go to question number 20, 21, and 22 of the mock exam.
Okay, what is the question about it?
So it is. It says that given the following ANOVA table, answer the following questions.
Question number?
So 20.
Question number 20. Okay, sure.
So I just wouldn't understand how to approach question number 20, 21.
Definitely, please watch the video on regression. I have discussed about
which week and in which lecture number.
Definitely watch the lecture on regression. Even if you watch the lecture on simple linear regression, I have spoken about what do you mean by sum of squares and what do you mean by mean sum of squares. So that's what those SS and MS represent. And I have
Okay, sir.
spoken about how to calculate those.
Okay, sir. And
Okay.
sir, if you could please explain that concept again of significance level and how to reject the hypothesis with the help of p-value. That is something that is confusing me right from the first quiz.
Okay. We calculate. There are two ways of rejecting or not rejecting the null hypothesis. One is to actually compare the test statistic with the test statistic that we get from the table, the calculated test statistic against the test statistic that we get from the table, or we look at the p-value. Okay, so p-value represents the probability that the null p-value represents the probability that we will find a sample if the null hypothesis were true. Probability of finding a sample if the null hypothesis were true, which essentially means that if p-value is very small, that means the probability of finding a sample is very small if the null hypothesis were true, but the sample is already found and you already have it. So the only thing that could be wrong here is the statement that the null hypothesis is true, and therefore that is an indirect way of rejecting the null hypothesis. So either you look at the test statistic that we calculate from the test statistic that we get from the table. If the calculated value is more than the critical value that we get from the table, you reject the null hypothesis, or you look at the p-value, compare that with the significance level, which is alpha, and then choose whether the probability is small enough for you to reject the null hypothesis or not. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mandira asks for week-wise weightage approximately. Impossible to estimate. Really impossible to estimate. We have tried to be fair and give equal weightage in the exam, but no, very difficult. So I will say every week, every lecture is important. Right? We are lucky. We are studying business analytics. Imagine what would happen if we go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Oh, I'm so very sorry. You have ear pain, but I have left ear in options during my exam." Doesn't work. Working of Q4 HCU. Q4 HCU. What question is that? Q4 HCU. Let us look at that.
So the
Okay,
efficiencies are given in that question. They just need to do that weighted sum and they'll get the answer for that.
Yeah. Just watch that video. Just watch that video. The video, one of the later videos on HCU calculations. So
The same has been answered in discourse, I think. The same question was asked in discourse. It was responded to.
Yeah, I think I answered that in the discourse.
Yeah, somebody answered.
Thank you, Manu Kumar.
Question number 22 is already discussed. I wanted to discuss that. The one about a normal distribution of the biscuits.
Sure. What is the question about that?
It's about, we could not understand the question itself actually. It's confusing.
Okay, the question is very simple. You are supposed to calculate the expected number of packets that will be sold on day 2. Right?
Okay.
So, and the data is given. The actual number of sale is given. 4 days sale is given.
But for that is of a different biscuit, not mentioned in the question, which is different.
Oh, yeah. It should have been chocolate chip. So the data is also about almond cookies. Sorry.
Yeah, that is why we got confused.
Sorry. It's a typo.
Okay, if it is to be of the same biscuit variant, then see, expected value of any normal distribution is nothing but the mean, right?
Okay.
But how 5 is the answer? I could not understand. Any given day for a normal distribution, expected value of that distribution is always the mean, right?
Yeah. So calculate the mean. No? Calculate the mean sale.
Mean is given as 7.
See, read the sentence very, very carefully there. Read the sentence. Okay. And that is yes. If you are confused, I am very happy. The confusion was introduced. It is by design.
Okay.
So I only suggest that you read that sentence very carefully. Okay, that's the trick. Okay, so but since you are asked to calculate the expected value, you are absolutely right. The expected value is the mean. You calculate the mean is 5.
Okay, average of the given data is okay. Oh, okay. This is the actual mean you are asking, not the expected mean.
No, incorrect term, right? Read the first sentence carefully. First sentence says it is assumed to be.
Okay.
Right. Whatever is assumed need not always be true. That's what we do in hypothesis.
Okay, it's a sample mean. A sample mean is what?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, expected number of almond is the sample mean which you are asking, not the
yes.
population. Okay, understood. Thank you.
Any more questions, friends?
I have one confusion again on the question number 18. In fact, this question was there in one of the practice assignment also. For a constant elasticity, from the lecture, this is C P to the power of minus C, right? If I use that for this problem, I get a different number, not the one which is there. But if I apply the typical one, which is normalizing, basically delta divided by the current price and the delta of demand by current delta, demand. With that, I get the answer which is expected in the question. I could not understand what is the difference between the two. I assume that formation of C P to the power of minus elasticity should give me the same answer because conceptually they both look same to me.
Okay, I'm reading that question. But Swami Srivatsa, if you already know the answer, just jump in and answer. So I'm reading question number 18.
Basically, what I tried was I tried to figure out the C there because elasticity is given as constant. P I know. From that demand also I know from the current one which is given. With that I figure out the C. Once I figure out the C and I have the elasticity of that, then I just need to apply the P to get the expected number of students to register. But I somehow don't get the 1770 what is mentioned here.
Okay, I'm doing the calculations. I may not be able to answer live, but I will make sure that the explanation is posted.
Yeah, but using that constant elasticity term formula, right? Not the delta and the percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, let me do these calculations. Can't do it live. So I'll post it. I'll definitely post the answer.
Yeah, sure.
In the discussion board somewhere.
Yeah, I think others also have the same query.
Sure, we will. As I said, let me quickly check.
Yeah,
I'll check and respond in the discussion board.
Okay, given the answer later, but conceptually they're both supposed to give, right? Same answer?
May not be. That's why I'm saying let me check.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Devansh.
So is there any chance that we can get the solution of the mock exam?
I'm not sure. I'll check with the management and see if that can be posted. We'll
But
check
the
and update it.
answers are given, right, Swami?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Answers
Yes,
are
sir.
given.
The
Answers
solutions
are
are not.
Solution.
Solutions are not available, but the answers
Yes,
are available.
sir. Answers are given, but I mean, for the solution, it is easier to grasp the concept that is being taught. That is for which the question is made.
We will check. Cannot guarantee.
Okay, sir.
So that's what. If you have any doubts, please post your solution on the discourse forum. 90% of the time, your peers will be able to answer your doubts, and we are always there. That's the best way to learn.
Yes, sir.
So we'll wait for 2 more minutes. There are any questions, please make use of this opportunity.
Just on the nice to have for the chi-square test in both the quizzes we were given the formula. I'm just saying the summation formula, but that was not that hard to remember. But the later stage, the linear regression and all this VAF, all these calculations also have an even more complicated formula there. So in the mock, I did not observe the formulas given there. So is it possible to provide them?
Which question would you expect the formula in the mock?
VAF related, and there was one more, I believe.
VIF, I think, is straightforward, no?
No, there is one more which is using VAF. There is one more. It's not there in the mock. Yeah, just it's not there in the mock, but that was a little bit common. No, because it was given from chi-square.
I think it adjusted R-squared question is there in the mock.
Yes, it is there.
Yeah. So chi-squared formula was given because it was running at that time, right? Now we expect you guys to know how the relationships are. So no, little difficult to provide all the formulas, right? Otherwise, it just becomes algebra, right? I mean,
understood.
And this is not algebra course.
Okay.
Plugging in values in the formula and answering doesn't help, right?
Understood. That's what I was not expecting for even chi-square because it was given just asking.
Agree.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a doubt.
Yes.
In the data envelopment analysis, when like we are doing in the when there is fixed output and there are various inputs like budget and team size. When we are graphically we are finding the efficiency frontier, we are just drawing a line and joining those points which are below other points. This is of course in case of inputs, but I am saying that if there was one more point which is just below this, like sir, if you can see the picture, if there was another point which is just below this frontier, then what will happen to that point?
If the point is below, right? And
Yeah,
if you are considering all the inputs, right? So essentially, the frontier is drawn in such a way that there are points only on one side of the frontier. So if I am understanding the description correctly, then the point below this frontier should have been on the frontier.
Then some points which are above this frontier, I mean, then how will we join the line? We'll just add this line on this point also in the line in the frontier.
No. Okay. I have explained that using the diagram. My standard recommendation is don't rely on these diagrams. These diagrams are actually outputs of the optimization problem. Solve the optimization problem.
Okay.
The points which get objective function value of 1 at optimality are the efficient ones. They are the ones who are actually on the frontier. So the frontier is drawn by first getting the optimal values and then drawing them on the 2D plot.
Okay, so this graph is just for a rough idea.
Illustration, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hari asks whether Python code will be tested. Yes, and Manu Kumar has correctly answered. I don't think so.
Professor, if there are no more questions, can we wind up the session?
Yeah, I mean, I leave it to you. Whatever is correct. Sure. If there are no questions, then it doesn't make sense.
Sure. So we'll wait for 1 more minute. If there are no more questions, we'll end the session here.
Okay. Or do we wait for somebody who may join at 8:40?
Generally, no, sir.
I think there was a problem with the WhatsApp link. they have shared the BDM link. Many clicked on it and it is waiting for session to start. Then people join from calendar link after realizing.
Okay. All right, friends. Thank you, Professor Rahul, for addressing this session. And thank you very much to all the students for making this course very interesting. Wish you very best for rest of your courses in the BSc degree, also for your future endeavors. Rahul sir, do you want to tell something to students?
Yeah, nothing. I have been lecturing, right? Literally. So nothing further. Do your best, and the real test is actually using these in your professional life. So plenty of techniques which could not be included in the course are also relevant. So keep learning, and yeah, best wishes not only for this course, not only for this program, but everything else that you may be doing. So let's hope that you can use these analytical skills that you have built in this course, in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Srivatsa. Thank you, Jaimini. Thank you all.